All right, in today's explainer, we are diving into a modern dating story that, well, it starts out like a fairy tale and ends up somewhere completely different. It's really a wild ride through just how complex compatibility and communication can be, and what happens when one person's kink is another person's total deal breaker.
Okay, so let's jump right in by meeting the couple at the center of all this, Termisha and Jermaine. Now, on paper, you'd think these two were practically made for each other.
I mean, their compatibility is almost uncanny. As you can see here, they're both an Aquarius, a sign that's known for being super creative. And this isn't just some vague astrological thing. Nope, they both actually write and record their own music. They share this really deep, fundamental passion. And their connection wasn't just about the big, artsy stuff either. It was really built on all those little things, the long walks, the deep conversations, just chilling and sharing music together. It really seemed like they were building a solid, real bond. And for Termisha, you have to understand the attraction was deep. This wasn't superficial at all. She was drawn to the very core of who he was, that creative energy, which she saw as this powerful masculine thing. Seriously, by all accounts, their foundation seemed totally rock solid. But just when everything seems perfect, the story takes this sharp, really unexpected turn. What looked like a totally straightforward connection is about to get incredibly complicated. Because everything we just established about them being a perfect match, well, it was wrong. There was this huge incompatibility just brewing right under the surface, and it was about to derail absolutely everything. And this is where things get strange. During moments that were supposed to be intimate and intense, Jermaine would start making these very specific and, frankly, unusual requests that just left Termisha completely blindsided and uncomfortable. And look, these weren't just one-off comments he made as a joke. They were recurring, super detailed requests that made her deeply uneasy. This was not a shared interest. This was totally one-sided, and it was something she had absolutely no idea how to respond to. So his interests were all focused on this very specific set of themes. And while things like her feet and her butt came up, it was really the persistent focus on this one particular area that became the central point of discomfort and, really, confusion for Termisha.
Okay, so let's get into how this communication breakdown actually played out. I mean, how do you even navigate a conversation when your partner's desires are so far outside of your own comfort zone?
Termisha tried a few different approaches. At first, she tried to just laugh it off, change the subject, hoping he'd get the hint. But when that didn't work, she moved to being direct, telling him flat out that his requests made her feel strange and uncomfortable. And this is the pattern they fell into. He would apologize after she told him how she felt, and she'd think, okay, great, the issue is resolved. But the apology was really just a temporary pause, not an actual change in his behavior. This timeline just shows the incredibly frustrating loop she was stuck in. A request, followed by her saying she's uncomfortable, followed by an apology, and then, like clockwork, it would just happen all over again. This cycle made his apologies feel totally meaningless because the behavior itself never ever changed. So this unbreakable, compulsive cycle, it eventually pushed Termisha to a really difficult crossroads. She had to weigh all the good things against this one deeply uncomfortable thing and decide if there was any future here at all. It really all boiled down to this simple but incredibly powerful conflict. On one hand, she genuinely liked him as a person, his creativity, their talks, the connection they had. But on the other hand, this fundamental part of his sexuality wasn't just incompatible with hers, it was an absolute deal breaker. And ultimately, the weight of this core incompatibility just became too much. The constant, uncomfortable requests and that endless apology cycle made it crystal clear that the normal relationship she wanted just wasn't possible with him. So she made the really tough decision to cut contact.
And that leaves us with a really difficult question, doesn't it? When you have a genuine connection with someone, but you face a fundamental incompatibility, whether it's a kink, a core belief, a life goal that you simply cannot accept, what is the right move? Do you walk away from all the good stuff? Or do you try to live with something that feels impossible? There really is no easy answer.